If you upload a ride to Strava and you don't use a power meter, then you've probably seen that you will get an estimated power for your effort. But how accurate is that figure? And if it's any good, are the days of expensive power meters limited? Well, you're watching road.cc and we're going to find out. If you follow the channel, then you'll know that a little while back I switched my LA Sprint from Shimano Ultegra to SRAM Red 1x AXS. I have mostly been very pleased with that change, apart from one little thing. I had to give up my power meter. What that means is I have several years worth of data with a power meter, a year or so on this bike without any power numbers, and now, like Pogacar at Strada Bianca, it's back. Actually, this Quark is the perfect example of just how far power meters have come. They are now amazingly reliable, accurate, bug-free, and for the most part, a lot cheaper than they used to be. Even so, this pro-level setup would likely set you back around £560 more than the non-power meter option. So my question to you is, are they really needed? Obviously, us amateurs don't actually need power meters. They are definitely a luxury. But what I mean is, do we need them to tell us how many watts we're doing? Let's go on a ride to find out. Yeah, right, let's find out how many watts it was. All right, there it is, 180 average. Although slight headwind on the way over. See if that makes a difference. Remember that number, then we'll plug it in, see what Strava estimates. Right, sausage roll consumed, and now for the moment of truth. So, let's get this plugged in. The only other thing is that obviously I'm gonna have to remove the power data from this. So first, before I put on Strava, I'm gonna grab the file and put it into, it's called Fit File Tools, I think, and it allows you to do all sorts to your fit files, and that's what it records in. So on my ride, if I remember rightly, I averaged 180 watts according to my power meter, which I would trust with my life. So let's see what Strava estimates, shall we? And let's upload that there. I'm going to strip the power data using Fit File Tools, one of my favorite online tools. Upload it to Strava, just like if I'd done the ride without a power meter. So the moment of truth, analysis. Estimated average power, 153 watts. So a bit less. I think that that is most likely because I was traveling slower than it thought I should be. And what I mean by that is I had that headwind on the way over. So I think that it hasn't necessarily taken that into account. And therefore, that's why it's predicted that I've used less watts than I actually did. So how has Strava arrived at that number? Well, Strava says that it uses rider weight, the speed of your ride, and the elevation profile to estimate power. Obviously, for this number to be accurate, those will need to be accurate, so make sure you input your weight right into Strava. Of course, to find out how accurate it is, we're going to need more than one ride. So to find some trends, what I've done is taken other people's rides too. Some slower riders, some faster riders, lighter, heavier, flat rides, lumpy rides, etc. to see if that makes any difference. So, are Strava watts a threat to power meters? No, not really. Firstly, a power meter can be used to inform your training when you're out on the road because, well, Strava can't give those live power estimates at the moment anyway. They can't stream them to your head unit. Even so, many people don't actually care about the number whilst they're riding. They just ride as hard as they like, maybe give it a dig up a hill, and then only care about that power number when they get home and want to see how hard they've ridden or compare it to efforts of previous rides. For this, Strava watts does undoubtedly have value. The estimated wattage from solo rides on regular routes that I've done seems to be pretty accurate, less so on that one that I've just done for some reason. And although I would never take that number as gospel, I do believe that it gives a good indication of whether one ride was on the same route was harder than another ride on the same route if you use the like for like setup. In fact, of all the rides that I've analysed, I've found this number to generally be within about 4 to 5% of the actual figure, which, well, that's not half bad and nearly as accurate as some of the cheapest power meters out there. The Strava algorithm is clearly very clever, but there's just so many variables that it makes it impossible to account for all of them. It doesn't know the state of the road surface you're riding on. It doesn't know what tyres you're using or even what bike you're on. It doesn't know how aero you are. It doesn't know that today I'm wearing all my winter kit, which is obviously going to slow me down a little bit. And taking that estimated number as anything more than that, an estimate, is going to be risky business. I wouldn't, for example, like to base my FTP or my training zones off of that number. On longer, steeper climbs, that seems to be where it's best, and the numbers look really quite similar to the numbers I've got from a power meter. I've got a theory about this. I think it's more accurate in this case because how fast you go up a hill is based far more on your watts per kilogram than lots of other variables. There's less variables such as wind or drafting other riders, and they're somewhat removed. So the more you sway the calculation towards pure watts per kilogram, the more accurate the Strava power estimate seems to be. The other thing that I've found is that the Strava estimated power seems far more accurate from my head unit than when I commute just using my phone. I've done some research and I think that's because this has a barometer in it. That's basically, well, it helps with the elevation data, and I think Strava's using that to make a better estimate. So in conclusion, how accurate are Strava watts? Well, it varies. In some cases very, and in other cases not very. Is it a number that you can rely on? Like I said earlier, I would be happy to use it on my regular lunchtime route that I do day in, day out. I think that it really is a useful tool for telling you which rides you put more effort in on. I think that it's really useful for that. However, using it to get an FTP, using it to say, oh, I rode at this power for this long, I don't think it can do that, especially if you're riding in a group with other people. I think that, and I hope Strava moves in this direction. I really hope that they use all the data that they've got access to. So they've got weather data on, you can see at the top of your ride what the weather was like. They very often know how many people you rode with. And if you rode with one of those people, then chances are they might have had a power meter. So hopefully in the future, that estimated power can be based off of all your mates' power. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. If you enjoyed this type of content, then please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for lots more bike stuff. We'll see you next time. I have to ride home first though. At least it's downhill.